Lights out, and away we go here in France. Start 85 getting a really poor start off the line, already being overtaken by two drivers as they come into the first corner. But coming into turn 3, Start 85 takes a tight line through there and he's making a bit of a comeback towards Heyer. But coming onto the first DRS straight, Heyer has got the move done on him, and his teammate Nora is also looking to get into this battle for the lead. But now coming into the hairpin, Start 85 goes a bit wide through there, and that's going to cost him some time on the exit, and that's allowed the Mercedes of Nora to pull alongside him. But coming into the first chicane, the Ferrari of Weissai also looking to get into this battle for the lead. You see Start 85 getting a bit of a bump, and the Mercedes of Heyer getting a huge slide through there. That's going to cost him a bit of time through the exit, and that's allowed the Red Bull to make a bit of a comeback and pull alongside him. But through the second chicane, the Ferrari of Moto also looking to get into this battle for the lead. But now coming into the final sector, it's a Mercedes 1-2 for the time being, but Nurikens is under threat from the Ferrari behind him, and coming into the final chicane, Nura has been overtaken by Moto, but Heyer is still leading. Moto in a bit of a Mercedes sandwich at the moment, but he's still just over 3/10 away from Heyer in the lead. As we see, oh, who's that? That's Start 85. Start 85 losing the car over the bump in turn 1 and losing his front wing. He went from fighting for the win from pole position, now all the way down to the back of the pack. His first race this season hasn't gone to plan whatsoever. The Aston Martins are now up into P5 and P6. This race is looking pretty promising for them so far, as we see McLaren going straight on into the wall. That's Lewis there, and the Red Bull of Beastova also getting a huge slide through the second chicane. Luckily none of them getting any damage, but that's going to lose them a huge amount of time. But yeah, we can see the bumps in this circuit are not being kind to the drivers whatsoever. We now have a three-way battle for P7. Jerry just ahead of the McLaren of Thax, who gets a bump through turn 2 and he gets a huge moment and it clatters straight into the wall there. That's a huge hit, but he somehow didn't get any damage from that. But I think he's actually stopping on track now. Maybe he's retiring the car after what just happened. Now coming through the second chicane, Weissai actually gets a bump on the exit, just like Beastova did a few laps earlier, but Weissai was millimeters away from touching the wall. That could have been his race over right there, but luckily he just about managed to save the car. But coming into the final two corners, we actually see the leaders now coming into the pit lane. Both Heyer and Moto coming into the pits, but Heyer goes onto the hard tyres. And Moto, what's Moto going to go on to? Moto goes onto the soft tyres. So again, we're seeing that differing strategy between the two teams. Mercedes preferring that one stop and compared to Ferrari's 2-stop. But we're going to see which strategy is superior later on in this race. Both Moto and Heyer are very close to each other. Less than a tenth separates the two drivers, but Heyer gets a bit of a bump through the second corner, and through the third corner he gets an even bigger bump there. That's going to cost him a huge amount of momentum coming onto the DRS straight. We're actually going to see a replay of what happened. See, coming through the second corner, he actually gets a warning for that, but he didn't really have a choice on where to go, and that's the bigger bump through turn 3. That's going to cost him a huge amount of time. As we see him, he actually lost 1.5 seconds from that, so that might be crucial in his battle for the Drivers' Championship. Heyer has actually lost his front nose cone somehow, but he's still got his front wing, so his car must be glitched somehow. But he's all the way down in P6, 18 seconds from the lead. So we're going to see what happened to him now from a replay. So we are now on lap 19, coming through the second chicane. Oh, and he just gets a bump and straight into the wall, losing his front wing. He had no chance of recovering the car from that. We see him getting yet another bump coming through the third corner. So yeah, it just looks like luck is not on his side this race. Moto hunting down Jerry as they come through the second chicane, as we see Moto actually taking a huge corner cut through there. He's got all the way into P2 by doing that, and he's actually gained 2 or 3 seconds there. So the stewards are definitely going to be having a look at that, and Moto might be at risk losing his podium from a post-race penalty. Whiteside's kept it clean and he's kept it consistent, and he's back on top here in Magny-Cours. Whiteside's gonna come across the line to win the French Grand Prix. But with the battle for P2 is not over just yet. Nura is ahead of Moto by only 4/10, so Moto still has a chance of getting P2. They come into the final corner. Nura goes a bit wide through there, but Nura just narrowly beats out Moto for P2, and Heya making a decent recovery to get back up into P4. Moto drops down into P5 and loses his podium after getting a 10-second penalty, but with Whiteside winning the French Grand Prix, he closes the gap up to Heya in the Drivers' Championship to only 6 points.